Hello guys and welcome back to another video with myself, Warframe Elite. Today, we are going to go over Excalibur, aka the poster boy himself. Now everyone knows that the poster boy got a beautiful buff, as he's the only Warframe to have a pseudo Exalted and an Exalted. But first, where do you get Excalibur? Okay, navigation. There's two ways you can get him. One is when you go into the star chart, go into Mars. This is where you get Excalibur 100%. Right? Do the war, tile set, kill the assassination. If you get lucky like me, do it 3 times, or you get unlucky where you have to do it 6. That's where you get the normal Excalibur. Now, the other Excalibur variant is Excalibur Umbra, and you go to your codex and go down to the main story quest and on to the mission called the Sacrifice. The quest itself gives it completely away on how you get this Warframe. But now, there's a bit of a problem with Umbra, okay? But I will tell you once we come back into the back room, as we are now, but in the arsenal, to talk you through his passive. But first, let's get into a game. I will see you there. Okay guys, we are here in a tile set. Something different for once. This is a void Cascade. On my facer to be precise. This is an endless game mode. Pretty much what I can do is I could potentially try to scale this build to level cap. But the only problem is I do not intend to take Excalibur to level cap. I generally don't. Because the build that I've made for him is just all about having fun. That is literally it. But just let's do a bit of showcasing. First skill is his 1, right? So first skill is his 1. Okay, that made so much sense. So the first skill is definitely not his 1. The first skill is his slice dash, right? So obviously his slice dash can chain to other people. So for example, like this. It also, at the top, gives you iframes. Remember that this ability gives you iframes whenever you are using this, and whenever this ability changes to other people. You get that split second of iframes. That is important as well for this build, because in this build you're not using rolling guard, you're using the iframes from your 1. So it will help you out a lot. Second is Nourish. No, second is Ritual Herald. If you're using Excalibur, it's Ritual Blind. So I will show you his second ability whenever we go into the back room. His third is his Ritual Javelin. So the Javelin, there's the Javelin right there. And I am also using the third augment, his augment for his Ritual Javelin, where I get increased melee damage. So this is going to be a lot of damage if I practice perfectly well over someone. So there's 387% extra weapon damage that I'm getting on my slice dash on his 4. Talking about his 4 is his Exalted blade. So yes, this Exalted blade got a nice buff. And what I mean by buff is that his waves now create combo. Like this is oh wow, and that is a nice quality of life update. Like it's so good. I'm actually blown away by the much of the update this got. It can now use melee influence. So yes, so if you're using his 4th augment, is Chromatic Blade, it creates a wave. Instead of doing it IPS, it creates the status. So the status damage instead. So the status is electricity, obviously. And then the second element on it is magnetic, because obviously when you're using magnetic, you want to shred the shields and especially the overguard. That will also crack electricity again. So this is what I'm looking for the most. So this is pretty much a rundown of Excalibur. So we will see you in the back room in the arsenal to go through the rest of his kit. And before I do go, I will take a nice Garuda blueprint. So yeah, I'll see you then. We're back in the back room in the arsenal to showcase you how I have put this build together for Excalibur Umbra. But first, let's go over his passive and his skill set from 1 to 4. First, let's go over his passive. Now his passive, same as Excalibur, you get a 10% faster attack speed, and you will do 10% more damage to pretty much anything while you're holding swords. Now, the only difference is between Excalibur Umbra, you will now inhabit a sentinel. So whenever you transfer it out of your warframe, and whenever you go into your drifter / operator, you will now see Excalibur Umbra following you as a sentinel, meaning that the gimmick is that he becomes a sentinel. But the only problem is about this, that when he is in a sentinel, he debuffs or gets rid of all your buffs, and that's quite annoying. But that's the reason why people don't like using Excalibur Umbra. Personally, me, use his augment, Warrior's Wrist. I like Excalibur Umbra. Yeah, I actually like his gimmick. So yeah, just personally me, I just like it. But yeah, on this his first ability is Slash Dash, guaranteed slash, affected by the range. His second is Ritual Hurled, aka Ritual Stun if you're Excalibur. So pretty much it stuns, same as Ritual Blind, it stuns as well as blinds. Can't really remember, it's been a long time since I've played Excalibur, the normal Excalibur, but both abilities do exactly the same. Ritual Javelin on its own, it's still useless. It is meh. Nah, but if you have its augment, damn, this becomes very useful. And last but not least is his Exalted Blade, and that is where he pretty much summons a sword of pure light and imbued with its power. So pretty much brings it, it's like a lightsaber, and just goes swing, swing, and you'll see all these radial attacks flying everywhere. So that there is what we pretty much like about his blade. But there's also a wee bit of a gimmick to his blade as well. While you're sliding, you do a mini radial blind. As you can see, blind radius 5, blind duration is 6. This is also affected by range and duration as well, so that just the people don't forget about, or don't leave, like just skip that little part. But yes, it does a little tiny mini ritual blind as well, so that's a good thing too. But yes, onto his build. So configuration B, completely blank. Onto configuration C. This is the build that I've put together with Excalibur Umbra. So pretty much, I'm not going to beat around a bush. We're just going to literally go straight in and talk right about it. Okay, so here we are. Steel Charge, Warrior's Wrist, Umbra Intensifier, Chromatic Blade, Furious Javelin, Blind Range, Prime Continuity, Prime Redirection, Equilibrium, and Prime Flow. Okay, so we're going to break it down, and I'm going to get it out of the way as fast as I can. Steel Charge, melee damage, 60%. We love it. Warrior's Wrist pretty much disables his passive as a sentinel, where he literally no longer fights beside you while you are in operator mode. So this is a mandatory must-have on him for an augment for this build to become useful on Umbra. If you are using Excalibur, the normal Excalibur, or Excalibur Prime Sure-Footed, hands down. Umbra Intensify for the strength, Chromatic Blade for the status damage change, so electricity is going to be the one that you're going to go for. Furious Javelin for the melee damage increase. This scales to the millions of damage, so it's pretty good. I like it. You get near probably 400 or 500% damage increase. You're going to be hitting hundreds of thousands, maybe the odd million. If you scale this up to around about 6 to 1,000, you're doing millions. It's really damage. Blame Range for the strength increase as well. So Blame Range and Umbra Intensify is going to be your only strength increase for this build. Prime Continuity for the ability duration, the only duration you need on this build because it's crazy for duration. Prime Redirection for the shield increase, we get a 2.4. Equilibrium for the health and energy conversion, and Prime Flow for the max energy. The Arcanes is Arcane Ages and Arcane Strike. Arcane Strike is your flex slot. You don't like Arcane Strike, put Molten Augment. If you don't like Molten Augment, put on wherever you want. You can even put on Arcane Fury. It is up to you. Up to you, but this is your flex Arcane. Arcane Ages is here for pretty much a just comfort, the where if you are gets like pretty much your shield gets hit, you do like a bit of shield damage. Arcane Ages will proc and will give it a 30% shield recharge for 12 seconds in its own shield recharge as well. So it's pretty good. Pretty much makes you quite of a shield tank. But yes, this is the build that I've put together. And I do want to clarify, this is not a level cap build. This is just your everyday, content to play. Exterminate, survival, defense, whatever you play, capture, disruption, just whatever. I do not intend to take Excalibur on to level cap because I already did level cap him and I'm not going to do it again, but not with this build. But as everyone knows that Excalibur got an update, and yeah, this is the build I'm going for. But yes, this is an everyday build. This is not a level cap build, just to make sure and clarify that. Now, before we go on to the Exalted Umbra Blade, we're going to talk about the Archon Shards. Archon Shards are 4 Triforged Chrism Archon Shards with melee critical damage. Now, if you have purple shards, you can go for the 4 purple shards instead for melee critical damage. More crit damage, the better, in my opinion. And obviously, the last one is the blue Triforged Archon Shard that gives you max energy. Having that nice big energy pull is quite nice. But if you do not like the energy, you can go for the full 5 red. And if you have 5 purple, go for the 5 purple. It just, whatever way, it does a lot of damage anyway. So, onto his Exalted Umbra Blade, or if it's Excalibur, Exalted Blade. The skill will be 9 your man to keep up the combo for the blade, and let's go into the build. So, this build I have here is electricity and magnetic. Magnetic is our to shred the shields and the overguarded enemies, meaning the axeless units. So, it means that you can kill them a lot quicker and easier. So let's break this down. The stance, it's stance there. Dreamer's Wrath for the Tentacle 50% to proc it, as well as the critical damage by 32%. Damn. Yes. You can go for this, or you can use the Discipline's Might for every 4, but I like this. It gives you 32% extra damage. Sacrifice Still for the crit chance increase, obviously times 2 when you heavy attack. Pressure Point for the melee damage. Magnetic Rush for the attack speed, and obviously 60% magnetic. Hell yeah. Actually good to see this as an actual mod where you have magnetic on an actual mod. I love you. That is a big dub for me. Gladiator Might for the crit damage, and obviously the melee critical combo chance multiplier increase. You can see it there. Yeah, I just completely totally buffled it, but it's there. But yeah, mainly there for the crit damage. Blood Rush for the critical chance stacks with combo multipliers, so just like critical chance increase. Melee Elements for the electricity. This is only here for the electricity and your heavy attack wind up speed, because you're going to pretty much heavy attack 50% of the time, so you can just swing your sword straight away and get a Tentacle Con straight away. So this is what this is here for, to make sure that your DOTs and your electrics hit quite hard. Arcane Shatter for the crit damage, and Berserker Fury for a more attack speed. And this is the Exalted Umbra Blade build. Don't forget melee influence to make this build perfectly fireable to where you shred. Now, onto the companion. Now you have 2 companions for this, is what I recommend. But this is the first one I recommend, and this is Come At Me Bro. I don't even ask me why I called it Come At Me Bro. I just decided to. May as well do something funny. But Come At Me Bro came to me, and this is the Dremora Hound. Now, the build that I went for is a disarmed build, so pretty much this the repo audit. It makes it magnetic pulse, so pretty much an EMP, but on a dog that disarms enemies. An EMP, if you don't know what an EMP is, that is a electric magnetic pulse. So this emits a magnetic pulse that disarms enemies. that's pretty much what that is. Fish's Bond, make sure this is second because this is the only armor strip that you have on this build, and this freaking works. You will be stripping armor. Reflex, for the pretty much the shield, reflex 90% of the damage will be magnetic damage. This ability does a lot of damage. I wouldn't recommend putting anything else on. Like, there's no point. This is amazing. Dual X Bond for the energy on the clones whenever they kill, has a 50% chance to drop. And this one here I always butcher for electricity. This also spreads the statuses that are on your companion weapon as well, but make sure that you are using Medical Bond for this to work. Guardian for the shields. Pack Leader is pretty much, you want to have this on. The reason why is you're going to be swinging all day long, so why not throw on Pack Leader to keep your companion alive a lot longer. And Simply Construct for the health orbs whenever the enemies are injured, and obviously Vacuum to suck up all of that juicy loot. The companion weapon is literally this. This is companion weapon, what it looks like. Barrel, Puncher, Heat, Impact, and Radiation is a mandatory on this weapon. Make sure that it's there. If you do not have Radiation, make Radiation from the mods, and you are Gucci to go. Now, onto the second companion, and that is the Worm Prime. Worm Prime, I recommend 2 companion weapons is the Fall Glass, obviously for the cold. Shivering Contagion can be one of them, and obviously if you have a critical chance Riven, like I do, I happen to get a nice juicy one with magazine capacity, where the magazine capacity is 197, so I'm not changing it. I don't care about the status chance because Manifold Bond force procs it, so it's a win-win for me. And this is pretty much what the companion weapons looks like. It's just cold, radiation, magnetic, and gas, but just make sure cold is on its own. Shivering Contagion comes in handy to where you can freeze up to as many enemies as you can in 6 meters whenever it is procs. It is good. The second companion weapon that I'm going to recommend is the Burst Laser. The reason why is because you have a lot of stats here, and obviously the Burst Laser procs IPS juicy. But this is it here. Make sure that you have Creeping Bullseye and Auger Pack on for the nice energy conversion spent. So pretty much a bit of a shield gate. Creeping Bullseye to make sure that Tenacious Bond, no, I refuse that, Reinforced Bond is there too. So we go into the Worm Prime. This will be the Worm Prime's build. You want to go for this. Negate, Manifold Bond, Calculated Redirection. Calculated Redirection is there for the Tenacious Bond to make sure you get a 1.2 final critical multiplier. Guardian for the shields regen. Prime regen to make sure your companion is always up. 25 seconds for your regen at the top, as you can see. Reinforced Bond for the shield capacity. I literally mixed that up. Give me one little second and let me redo this. Calculated shields are there for the Reinforced Bond to get your fire rate. Tenacious Bond is there for the final 1.2 critical multiplier, and that is on your companion's weapon to make sure that you're over 50%. Simply Construct and Dual X Bond are there obviously again for the health and energy, and Vacuum for the suck up that juicy loot. But yes guys, this is the recommendations of the companions that I use, but I'm gonna go for a Come At Me Bro because it is more universal and more better for me, and that is the way I do it. It's just a comfortable build for me. If you want to go crazy, go buck mad with the damage, change the Archon Shards to the purple. Keep the energy if you like it. If not, go full 5 Archon purple shards and you are freaking Gucci to go. But yes guys, this is the build for Excalibur Umbra, aka Excalibur. If you have Prime, you've got the base version. Congratulations to you. You're pretty much one of the founders. Respect for me to you. But yes guys, this is it. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to the YouTube. I will be leaving my links in the description below. Will be my Twitch and my Discord, guys. Come and stop by, say hi. Join the Discord. We have a very friendly community there to help each other, to have fun. We also do play different games, so don't worry. Warframe is the game that I love. It will be the main content that I create, but I do play other games, and hopefully to see usings over in the Discord, and I will see you on my next stream. But until then, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.